Okay, let's talk about this trailer. Hello, first of all. If you didn't hear the news and you're watching this, Deltarune tomorrow. Deltarune was announced at the Nintendo Direct today. This is a few hours after the trailer dropped. I took the time to clear my head a little bit. I went for a run, had something to eat, and then I came back, and now we are going to go through this trailer frame by frame. Forgive me if this seems poorly put together, because it kinda was. This is only partially scripted. Okay, so the trailer dropped, and there was a newsletter, which we're gonna go over, I think. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do the newsletter first. Let's do a newsletter first. So let's go over to that. Okay, so this is the newsletter. Came out right after the trailer dropped, and we're gonna take a look at this really quick. Sorry to keep you waiting. Okay, Deltarune Chapter 5 will launch simultaneously worldwide on all platforms June 24th at 11 a.m. And I believe it's releasing around the same day as the other chapters released. The only difference being Chapter 2. Because Chapter 2 released on a Friday, and I believe Chapter 1 and Chapter 3 and 4 also released on a Wednesday. A lot of this video is going to be me pointing out things that are maybe relevant, but most likely not so relevant. Okay, let's continue. I want to surprise people playing the chapter for the first time, so I avoided showing the most exciting moments, which is the opposite of what you should do for a trailer. So here's the ending shot, awesome art by Temmie. The trailer itself was made by Everdread, and I definitely want to talk about this. So this is how Toby is describing Chapter 5, as it were. So Chapter 4, we saw dark clouds on the horizon. Yes, Chapter 4 was pretty dark. That's why, let's not look there for now. Let's turn around and watch the sun before it goes down completely. Let's smile again and have one more fun adventure. In my opinion, it fits well in the overall story of the game. So, this is Toby directly telling us that Chapter 5 is going to be a more fun chapter. So I think we can just get right down to it, because like a lot of people are expecting, there's this expectation. Whenever like a game developer makes a game like this and they decide to release it in this way, incremental chapters, there's always not necessarily a prevalent expectation, but there is always a minor expectation of every single chapter improving on itself and getting better and getting crazier. Chapter 4 was so crazy that a lot of us were genuinely shocked at how crazy it got, to the point where there's a very good chance that Chapter 5 was never going to live up to the craziness. Now, for all we know, Toby's just messing with us. Toby's just like, hey guys, this is just supposed to be a fun adventure, don't think about it too hard, and then we see, oh no, here comes the second Titan, no! I'm sorry. So this could be this could be a multitude of things. So this could be Toby maybe tempering expectations a bit. Maybe Chapter 5 won't see us have like a crazy big boss fight like Chapter 4 did. Maybe it could be something along the lines of a chapter that's more robust with fun ideas that Toby had, rather than accelerating the story forward. Me personally, I'm hoping for a Rouse chapter, which leads to my interpretation for what this is potentially alluding to. So the phrase, let's smile again and let's have one more fun adventure. This kind of reads to me almost like a state of denial, if that makes any sense. It's almost trying to ignore everything that just happened. And that has Rouse all over it, okay? A lot of Rouse's character is ignoring, not necessarily ignoring, it's front-loading the issues, front-loading the stress and the anguish onto himself rather than his friends. Especially with the end scene, when, you know, Rouse starts to cry, Susie walks away, and he's just trying to relighten the mood. He's just trying to, you know, it's like, it's look, Chris, I'm smiling. This is what, like, you can even see the word, let's smile again. This has Rouse written all over it. It's almost like through this dialogue, Toby is representing the mentality of, let's not think about things too hard. Let's just smile and everything's gonna be okay, and everything's gonna be the big, crazy, fun adventure that we had all the way back in chapter 3 and 2. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the majority of chapter 5, well, first of all, I'm hoping that it's going to be a Rousei chapter. I've been like pushing this like idea for like a long time that chapter 5 is going to be Rousei's chapter. And the reason why is because he needs it. The writing attention given to Rousei compared to the other characters is lacking significantly as of right now. So that's one of the big reasons why I hope that this is actually a Rousei chapter, that a lot of us are correct in that regard, that this is going to be a Rousei-centric chapter. In a way, it's not, it could be just a trick of the perspective. In that Temi art, it almost looks like Rousei is in front, but no, it's probably more so they're all like standing side by side to each other. So like I said, that's what my stance on this. I'm circling it with my mouse, even though you probably can't see the mouse. So I think that's what's going on here. Rousei's mentality of trying to cover up all of his pain with a smile. That's really bad news, but that's also kind of good news because, you know, we might get Rousei chapter, maybe? Toby, please? Yeah, okay. Chapter 6, Progress Update. Chapter 6 is developing well. Cutscenes and NPC interactions are making good progress. This is very interesting. This chapter is easier to make than the others, so the development is going quite fast. That's weird. It almost makes me think that like chapter 6 is going to be really short, which is interesting because it's like on the one hand we're going to get it sooner, but on the other hand it's going to be like, oh no, we want more Deltarune. But it's interesting. Its development of chapter 6 supposedly is easier to make than the other chapters, so therefore the development is going fast. Some people in my Discord server essentially evaluated that as this is where the weird route is going to end. Like, the reason why chapter 6 is much easier is because Toby no longer has to account for multiple routes, and chapter 6 is where the end of the weird route will be. As far as I know, I'm not too sure what to make of that line. I guess we can go with that interpretation for now. But yeah, that is interesting. Let me know what all of you think. This sounds crazy, but it's not unrealistic that some staff members may start working on chapter 7 before the end of the year. That is very interesting. And also kind of scary, because I don't know if Toby's just trying to get people's hopes up or something, but like the way it's sounding like, or the way it seems to be read, is that Deltarune chapter 6 and chapter 7 are going to be here a lot sooner than expected. There's new merch here. I really need to get a record player. I really need to get one. And then, let's see, yep, you can see it. So the single golden flower in the conclusion. Again, Toby says, sorry to keep you waiting, but we still have to wait a little bit. And supposedly there's another newsletter planned that is going to come after chapter 5 releases. So in about 2 weeks from now, Toby will release another newsletter. I don't know why the transition is so slow. I am so sorry. I'm going to cut all of this out. Hopefully. If you haven't watched the trailer, obviously, I would hope you watched the trailer already. There's a link down below. Go and watch the trailer first. I'm assuming all of you have watched it. So what we're going to do is we're going to skim forward a little bit, but then we're going to go like full on frame by frame. And I have like a list of stuff here that I'm going to pull up. It's just a loose thing of notes that I have. I'm doing this all unscripted, which is weird for me because I usually like to script all my videos. We're going to go forward a little bit. When I first saw this, I didn't know what to make of it. For some reason, it reminded me of Moon. Like, this reminded me of Moon Remix. If it stewed on this image for a little bit, I would have thought, oh, okay, it's another Pikmin game or something. But nope, it's Deltarune. It's Deltarune. My headcanon is that it's physically Toby Fox in that costume. So the first thing I want to talk about in this trailer is we got the flower. Interesting. We got some more flower imagery. So we got a big burst of flowers. We got the pink flowers, and then I think it goes kind of into reddish to like match the red hue of the red soul, and then it kind of goes into a yellow. So it's got the pink and gold. So the first thing after all the flowers go down is we see interesting little potentially Rudin redesign. See, let me see if I can get a clean frame of them. All the flowers go away. There we go. I'd say that's as clear as I can. So new enemy type, new sword enemy. So we got some Rudins, which is interesting. I think this will be, and this is actually interesting because this is yet another variation of the Rudin. So the Rudin, out of all the other like Darkner enemies, seems to have the most copies of itself. You had the Rudin, then you had the Rudin Ranger, and then you had all of the different colored Rudins from Chapter 3. Now, technically, they were all gray, and I believe Chris was the one who colored them. And then you have the Rudin who was in the Chapter 4 Egg Room, which is interesting because we just keep coming back to Rudin. I'm not sure what to make of that as of right now. So yeah, this could be just a complete coincidence, or the Rudin may have some kind of underlying significance to Chris or some kind of significance to the Dark World themselves. So the first thing I want to talk about is this phrasing of the term blooming. So blooming, the term blooming is obviously in regards to flowers blooming, you know, the turning of the seasons. Whenever spring rolls around, you have a bunch of flowers start to bud and they start to appear, and you know, the flower could be perceived as some kind of like representation of coming into your own, growing up, finding who you are, what you want to be, you know, things like that. Some of you guys may be familiar with the term you're a late bloomer. The concept of blooming is just you are fully realizing yourself, considering how much of a coming-of-age story Deltarune is turning out to be for all of our main characters. So this could be a type of foreshadowing to imply a massive, you know, character progression for all three of our main characters. Personally, I'm gunning for Rousse's, but it could be a lot of things. It could be Susie taking on the mantle, the wielder of the Pen of Hope, which will come up later. Could be Chris defining who they want to be. Do they want to keep working with the mayor? Do they want to keep working with the knight? If they are working with the knight, we still don't know the specifics, obviously. What I think is just a big foreshadowing of all of our Lightners defining who they want to be in this story, essentially. So that's what I think the whole like blooming things come from. So what else? Okay, so I went over the Rudins with the flowers. A lot of big blooming. It's gonna come up even more so later, but we have a red circle here. Oh, I see what this is, because the bullet attack from the flower Rudins has like this circle AoE attack. It sends out a circle of these spikes, and then the spikes shoot out. So that's like a warning. I was gonna say it looks very similar to the one of the attacks that Flowey can attack you with in Flowey's fight, but we're gonna get a little bit more of that later on. So so that's only the first example of this. So yeah, you can see this is how the attack is gonna work. The ring of flowers is gonna go into the red circle. It's there to warn you, essentially. We can see that grazing is still here, but that was no surprise, though no one was thinking about whether Toby is going to get rid of the grazing mechanic. That's not something we were worried about. And here we have our next big fight. It is between Trashy Super Saiyan Newbert. Wait, hang on. He does not have the bang, so it's Super Saiyan 1 Newbert. Okay, let's get that straight. Oh, dang it. I accidentally played. Okay, it's fine. We can go back a little bit. There's a couple of things I want to talk about in this fight. And then we have the little ball who has achieved the the final form, ultimate ball form. And they look like orbsmen from the Amazing Digital Circus. I thought that was funny. So this looks like, to me, potentially one of two things. It could be the mini boss encounter that you get to within the first 30 minutes of the chapter. Could be a mini boss encounter. It could be a joke fight, kind of like the cat swing fight, the three mics that you meet. This might be a fight that you do back in Castletown. It's very interesting that they're not showing the wireframe background. Obviously, that's probably for trailer purposes. Don't want to give away too much. This little thing right here. You can see it. I'm highlighting it with my mouse here. So we have a bunch of trash. This is probably Trashy's attack. And we have this little thing here that looks very similar to the bonus fight in Castletown that you get with La Niña and El Niño. In that fight, you get a little hat, you get a little umbrella or something to deflect bullets as they come raining down on you. Okay, so the next thing coming in here is, so we have Chris, Susie, and Rouse running across the screen with energy behind them. I'll talk a little bit more about this, but the potential implications of this in a minute. But this looks a lot like Powerpuff Girls representation, or what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration. That's what I was looking for. not representation, inspiration, sorry. So this looks a lot like it was inspired by Powerpuff Girls. You got the 3 lines flying across the screen. The Fun Gang has pretty much the same color palette. So you got the blue, you got the red, and you got the green. So yeah, that's what this could be. Fun fact, in the pilot of the Powerpuff Girls, they were called the Whoop-Ass Girls. 100% serious, by the way. And here, this isn't too crazy. We'll just kind of skim over this a little bit. They're showing some clips from previous chapters. This is from chapter 4 at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. This is when Rouse comes over and hugs Susie. I like you too, Susie. And for some reason, Susie taught Rouse how to be an uwu warrior, I guess. So she pushes him off, and then he explodes, which is funny. And then interestingly, they show Spamton, which now there could be a reason why they're showing these specific clips from past chapters, or maybe there isn't. I'm not sure. I'm not going to claim to know like, oh, they're showing Spamton because we're going to see Spamton again in chapter 5. No, not claiming that at all. Although I will say, if I remember correctly, Spamton was the first character who had the pink and the gold. Unless it was Jevil. Let me double check really quick. But yeah, no, that could be the potential reason why they're showing off Spamton here, the Spamton clip, because Spamton, I'm pretty sure, is the first character, the first notable character who had like pink and gold in the main color scheme. Whether we're going to see Spamton again, I don't necessarily think so. Technically, as we found out in chapter 3, if you find that hidden cutscene, Spamton and, of course, Jevil also, they're still with us, they're just in their item forms, and we're using them in our inventory. So here's, Spamton. Would be interesting to see a Spamton revival, because after I'm done with the video I'm currently working on now, I'm going to be doing a Spamton character analysis, which I may do or I may hold off on, depends on what is about to happen. And then we move on to Tenna, who doesn't necessarily have too much pink and gold in his color palette, but Tenna has very interesting underlying connections to Chris, so maybe that's why. Obviously, and like I said, I'm going to say it one more time, I don't know if these are just random clips because they thought the clips were cool from the previous chapters, or if these have like plot significance to the new chapter. I'm just pointing out potential connections that there may be. Look at Chris go. Look at how good they can jump. Good job, Chris. 2 points. Let me scroll forward. Okay, here we go. For next new thing. It's Shovel Knight. So anyway, so here we have more flower imagery. And I think this is the first. Let me go to the first frame we see him. So this is another fight. This could also very well be the mini boss encounter. Could be the end of chapter boss encounter. Maybe, who knows? They do look a lot like Shovel Knight though, which is pretty funny. And so we have a bunch of green. We have a bunch of green in the little box there down below. We have some teardrops that can heal you, which is very interesting. Right now we just see their bullet patterns. So a lot of what's been going on. Oh wait, hang on. We'll talk about this in a second, but what I want to talk about first is the potential of back ahead. Okay, so we don't know when we fight this person. Not sure when. If anything, if I had to make a guess, I would say this was the mini boss encounter, and the trashy ball and Super Saiyan Newbert fight, that's probably something extra you can do in Castletown. So, with all of this plant imagery, obviously a lot of us for a long time have assumed that the next Dark World is probably going to be inside the Flower King. I'm almost certain that the festival is going to be in Chapter 5. If not, if it's going to be more of like an in-between kind of chapter, like in between the nights, maybe like the festival doesn't start until like late afternoon and chapter 5 takes place the morning after like chapter 4. That's like the only way I can see us not doing the festival. Hi, hello, this is post-recording Nighthawk. I do not know where this is going to end up in the final product as of right now, but, and this is technically spoilers because this was not in the actual trailer, Go Nintendo uploaded a screenshot along with a few others, but this one is new. If you don't want spoilers, it's not like a super big spoiler, it's just like it involves the festival. It's nothing too crazy, but if you don't want to get spoiled, I'll just skip ahead a little bit. I'll put the screenshot up on screen in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, there we go. Just giving people who don't want spoilers a chance to skip ahead. Okay, so here we have Noelle, Susie, and Chris walking through the light world, which appears to be at the time of the festival. So yeah, it is confirmed now. My danced back and forth with the idea of Chapter 5 having the festival, not having the festival. But yeah, with this little sort of spoilery screenshot, we now know for certain that the festival is going to be in Chapter 5. This is Sans selling ice cream, and it looks like we're going to get another Light World segment with Noelle, Susie, and Chris. Maybe we'll get a Ferris wheel section, maybe we'll get a Birdly section. Now with this, I'm going to cut most, if not all of that out, so if I somehow miss something and I talk about the potential likelihood of the festival being in Chapter 5, just ignore me. The festival is going to be in Chapter 5. Okay, thank you. Back to the thing. And then here we go. This is my favorite shot of the trailer. So, Chapter 5 is waiting, and we're going up, and look, what do we have here? It's a sprite that looks awfully similar to a feather, and it's glowing, and it's white, and it looks very much like a quill pen. I'm pretty sure that's the white pen of hope right there. It is interesting because, before in Chapter 4, if you were to ask me, like, the white pen of hope is like something symbolic. It's not like a physical thing that, could exist. But, the Dark Worlds work in fiction. They turn fiction into reality, or rather, they make their own separate plane of reality in which fictional ideas and concepts come to life. This could be, in a way, one of our, a Lightener, whoever made this Dark World in particular, wanting to manifest the pen of hope through making the Dark World. So who knows? Maybe Susie is the one who makes this Dark World, and maybe this is the end goal of doing so. Maybe Susie gets this idea, hey, if I actually have a physical pen, a powerful, darkness item, maybe I can beat the night. Maybe I can rewrite the prophecy or something like that. Because in a way, the Dark Worlds have a way of looking into your deeper thoughts and manifesting them when the Dark World forms. So this could be an example of Susie manifesting the Pen of Hope and creating it for herself as an actual weapon to use against the night. Or it's not actually there and it's all just BS. I don't have the answers, okay? I'm not Toby Fox. Go talk to him. Or maybe don't bother Toby. So yes. So this could very well be, if we're just gonna take this at face value, this could be what they're searching for throughout the chapter. This could be the who knows? This could just be a MacGuffin. This could literally just be a plot MacGuffin that they're just going for, and then they lose it, and then the knight gets it, or maybe it doesn't do anything, and maybe it goes back to the the symbolic message of everything's just it's symbolic. It's the symbolic pen of hope that Susie possesses, and that her hope will win the day and push past the night and the oppressive fiction that the night is creating, or whatever. Quickly cycling back to what the newsletter said. The newsletter specifically said that this was supposed to be a fun adventure. I'll be honest, this doesn't look very fun to me. This looks very dark and drab and like underground-ish. He said underground. I wonder if that's going to be relevant later. So yeah, so this is what I'm thinking right now. This could be an actual physical item that we're going to try to get. I feel like if there was some sort of crazy MacGuffin weapon that we were going to get, it probably would have been in the prophecy already and we would have heard of it. Because as far as I know, the concept of the Pen of Hope only comes from Gerson. It doesn't come from the prophecy. On the other hand, I keep going back and forth. On the other hand, this could be Susie's attempt to use her determination to subvert the prophecy in her own way by using the Dark World's ability to create things against the prophecy itself and manifesting a thing to change the thing that supposedly can't be changed. I hope I'm articulating my thoughts correctly. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. That's what I think that's what this is. This is what I think this is Susie's creation here. And potentially Susie could be the one to open Chapter 5's Dark World. We don't see that much of Asgore in this trailer, which is interesting. But anyway, let's move on. Move on. We can see it's glowing. Chris is walking towards it. And then we get this. We get all of this. Flashback, anyone? I feel like this is a reference to something. So the one thing that does appear to be a constant theme throughout all of these chapters is Chris running off on their own. This is in Chapter 2, this is in Chapter 3. technically there are moments where Susie leaves you in chapter 4, but it's not like Chris has this like ulterior motive. If anything, Rousey does it in chapter 4. This could potentially be an attack from the secret boss. And we don't see anyone on the right-hand side of the screen, and it's probably because it's censored. So maybe, who knows, this could just be a random attack, or this could be the attack of the secret boss. We don't know. But what we do know is that this is literally an attack from Flowey, also from Undertale. And it works pretty much the... Oh, wrong thing. And it works pretty much the same way too. They're going through. I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen to see if maybe there's like a green thing that pops up, like a green... Nope. Okay, and then it cuts from there. Hang on, let me go back a little bit. So yeah, so this would be, I think, roughly the 3rd or 4th instance of Undertale, like, mechanics stuff coming into Deltarune. Because obviously, you know, like, Undertale, Deltarune, parallel stories, characters from Undertale coming over, vice versa. Deltarune was Toby's initial idea, but he did Undertale first. In Chapter 4, the only other one I can think of is during the Wicca Bell fight. It's like one of the random Darkners you can meet in Chapter 4. The Wicca Bell fight has the Undertale attack thing as its act option. So it, as far like, and that's just a random Darkner. So this could very well be just another random Darkner, and this could maybe just Toby getting our hopes up, but no. If I were to make a guess, the super hype theorist in me wants to say that this is an attack from the secret boss, and we just can't see the enemy on the right side of the screen because that enemy is being censored, because obviously Toby doesn't want to show off the secret boss in the trailer. That would be weird. But and if I had to guess, it would maybe it is just Flowey. Maybe it is just, well, not Flowey specifically, like maybe it's Deltarune's parallel version of Flowey, is what I'm saying. Maybe that's the reason why the golden flower was at the bottom of the newsletter. Very interesting is that would actually support this being a secret boss, because, like, as we've been able to glean before, the secret bosses all seem to have some kind of history with Chris. It's very interesting that the Flowey attack that was chosen is all knives. All the knives, and as we know, Chris carries around a knife. So, this could be the secret boss, could be a random Darkner, we just don't know. I am going to go ahead and lock in my guess saying this is one of the secret boss's attacks. Because it's Chris by themselves, it has significance to them with all the knives, and it's a crazy Flowey fight, PTSD coming back to haunt all of us. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, it looks like it works pretty much the same way. And then we have this little thing. This big beanstalk, maybe some Jack and the Beanstalk inspiration here. And as far as like what this is, if the Chapter 5 Dark World is in the Flower King, this would probably be that main like thing, that main like vine of flowers that's in the center of the room that comes down. That could be what this is, considering it's like a big tower of like vines. It looks like but yeah, this looks like something we're going down, maybe. And then we have this little thing. So, I was talking about this before with the Powerpuff Girls inspiration, but if you look very closely, we can see that Rousey's flying again, because of course he is. And Susie, Chris, and Rousey all have these, I guess you could call them, like, for my DBZ fans out there, after images, like images of themselves that follow like after them. This could just be a little aesthetic choice, but I think that combined with the imagery we saw from like the Powerpuff Girls stuff, I think this could be a representation of our Darkners like getting like stronger in like a different way. Like maybe as like funny anime as this sounds, you know, obviously there was references to Dragon Ball Z before. As like anime as this sounds, maybe they find like this power source or something inside the Dark Worlds that gives them like, you know, the Powerpuff Girl powers or something. I know it sounds stupid, but like I'm kind of serious. What if this is like the game's representation of the power of hope, right? What if they're like through their determination, through their hope, they get stronger, and this is like them perhaps maybe fighting the knight at the end of chapter 5. And this is like them with like energy trails behind them, showing that they're, you know, they're stronger together for their journey or something like that. It sounds dumb when I say it, but it kind of sounds really cool to play. I really like that idea. It sounds, come on, guys, it sounds kind of cool, right? It sounds kind of cool that they're all like, they all each have their own energy, and you know what, you know, screw you guys. I think it sounds really cool, and I hope, I hope all the fun gang goes Super Saiyan, and and I hope they use the Super Saiyan powers to beat. Potential prediction here. For some reason, I don't think I've talked about this in a video before, but for some reason the chapter 4 trailer, or the gameplay from chapter 4 in the trailer, is inverted. No, I'm serious. Go back and look at it. In chapter 4, Susie and Chris are running away from all of the little dark dust bunny things. They're running to the right in the trailer, but in the actual game they're running to the left. I don't know why. Maybe in the actual game they're running to the left instead of the right, so there's a little prediction there. And this is very interesting. This could also be the area we saw earlier, which what I was saying was the White Pen of Hope. This area looks to be not necessarily like flower-esque, but more so like ocean. Like we see some lily pads down there at the bottom underneath Chris. We see these vines here that look almost like seaweed. We see some like seagrass or maybe some wheat here. So this could be us moving closer towards... This could actually support the idea of the next Dark World being in the Flower King, because the Flower King is right next to the lake. So this could be an example of the Flower King being maybe connected to the lake somehow. Maybe like maybe toilet theory is real, and we go down into Asgore's toilet into the lake. We could see ourselves going into the lake Dark World as well in chapter 5, because as chapter 4 taught us, all like there are no rules. Get rules card out of here. There are no rules. We can have as many Dark Worlds per chapter as we want. We can have all the Dark Worlds. We can start in the Flower King. We can end in the Flower King. So this is just a interesting little shot of them running. They're chasing something. So this could go back into, you know, the idea of they're trying to get the pen, but the knight steals the pen. So now they're running after the knight trying to get the pen back. Could be a bunch of things. I'm just looking through all of this vegetation. It all looks kind of similar. It looks almost swampy in a way. It looks almost like some swampland. Looks very Yume-Nikki-esque, honestly. I definitely predict we'll see some more Yume-Nikki stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. Let me keep going, and then here we go. And then we have the colors return. Blue Chris, red Susie, green Rouse thing. I'm hoping for, fingers crossed, Rouse chapter. Everybody, Rouse chapter. It's okay. And there we go. Deltarune is waiting. I think that's everything. We got some nice petals, nice rose petals, maybe some cherry blossom trees. Very interesting aesthetic. And that is that. Okay, and that is that. So that is everything from the Chapter 5 reveal trailer. I went frame by frame. I highly doubt I missed any tiny details. If I did, I'm sorry. Link to the trailer, link to the newsletter, link to the Steam page. Everything will be down there. Deltarune tomorrow. Some closing thoughts. Let's see. Closing thoughts. I'm hoping for a Rouse chapter. Hopefully, maybe, please. And what I think the overall thing for Chapter 5 is going to be, I think initially, it's going to be very much trying to escape the reality of what's going on with the prophecy and the night and the roaring and all that. It's going to be potentially our main characters trying to just have fun in the Dark Worlds like they used to, try to maybe like move past everything, and then along the way they'll realize, okay, we can't just, you know, be kids anymore. It's not fair, but we are the only ones who can stop this, so it's up to us. Or maybe it's up to Susie. Maybe it's only up to Susie, and we may see a potential breaking down of our group. And what I am really interested in finding out is, who do we follow when the group breaks up? If the group breaks up, are we gonna go with Susie? Is Susie gonna take us? Is Susie gonna find out about us? A lot of questions. Will we probably get all of the answers in Chapter 5? No, because we probably still have to wait till Chapter 6 and then Chapter 7. I think that's everything. That's everything I wanted to go over. Obviously, I'm going to try to play it when it first comes out. And I guess with that, I should probably give a little disclaimer as to like what content on this channel is going to look like in the next couple of months. So this is why I divided my Chapter 2 analysis into multiple parts, because I knew this was going to happen, and it did, so I'm very glad. Because if I didn't do the Chapter 2 analysis the way I'm doing it right now, I would have been like halfway through like a 6-hour-long analysis, and I would have been screwed. I didn't expect Chapter 5 to come out this soon. I thought it was going to be more of like an October-ish release. You know, I was hoping for summer, right? But I was thinking more like maybe like closer to maybe give us some time. But no, it's been over a year. The 1-year anniversary of Chapter 3 and 4 was just finished. So yeah, future of content on this channel. I'm going to try to get one more Chapter 2 analysis video out. That's going to be the Spamton. Wait, no, 2 more technically, because the video I'm working on right now with my editor is a roughly 1 hour long analysis of the Cyber City area. So that's coming out for you guys no matter what. You're going to see that because it's pretty much 80% done right now. So you guys are definitely going to see that. I might have time to get a Spamton video out as well. Maybe. Probably. 2 weeks is plenty of time for another Spamton video. When Chapter 5 comes out, I'll play it. I'll live stream it just like I did Chapters 3 and 4. If you want to come by and see my reaction to it, that's cool. I'll obviously announce it when I'm streaming it. And obviously, I'll make videos afterwards. I'm hoping to make that Rouse update video, because that's what I said. I'm going to do the Rouse update video first. Aside from that, just a quick little, just little warning, I guess you could call it a warning. Not really. It's not really a warning, just a little, like a heads up. I'm giving a heads up after, I make, whatever videos I'm going to make when Chapter 5 comes out. I will finish the Chapter 2 analysis series, and then afterwards, there's a chance I might take a break from making Deltarune content in general. I'm just going to be honest, I'm getting a little burnt out on Deltarune, and who knows, maybe Chapter 5 is going to reinvigorate me, and I'm going to make a bunch more Deltarune Chapter 5 videos. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, who knows. We'll have to see it. It is still waiting for us. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for watching this roughly hour-long analysis of a 47-second trailer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I got everything. And yes, Deltarune tomorrow. Let's go.